I suppose I've actually leapfrogged over the whole initial solution. So how have you found it? So now you've been using it for a few months. How have you actually found it? Did the rollout go smoothly? Did the users find it easy to pick up? What were the good things about Dynamics and the way the solution was built?
I think everyone was very keen to get on it, but also we were very conscious that it was a big step for them. Previously, there'd been a lot of information on various different Excel sheets in various different inboxes. So it was a step change for them. And also to see the processes that they had down on paper to then go into the system, that was also quite an eye-opener. There was a lot of tweaking, and does this need to be here, or should this step now be in a different space? But now I think that they've been working with it really well. They're coming up with a lot of ideas for potential improvements or nice to have, sort of for later down the line once everything is sort of bedded in. So I think there's still some areas that we would like to improve, and also it's making the team look at their processes in a bit more detail. Is that step in the right place? Do we need to move it? Should there be another step there? And that also falls into the prospect of using it across different departments and how those processes fit together. As I said, there is a lot of crossover. So where one process looks quite straightforward, at what point does that team come in and that process then go off in a completely different direction? So it's been good. The director of the acquisitions team has been very positive about it. So I think they're starting to see the benefits, certainly with how they work, being able to work from one system without moving from sheet to inbox back to a different sheet. I think is helping them massively. And some of the automations that have been put in there have meant that they can get on with work that they need to do quicker without having to, it's removed a step within have a process with an NDA. So as soon as an inquiry is received, that now goes into Dynamics and the NDA goes straight out. So if an inquiry comes in, say on a Friday evening or a Saturday morning, the NDA has gone out and essentially come back in signed by the time that they're back in the office on a Monday. So instead of sending an NDA out on a Monday, they're actually picking the phone up and having that conversation. So that they're a step ahead than they would have been previously. And it's quite a straightforward step, but the time that it can save. And also, if an NDA comes back signed, you know that inquiry is a serious inquiry, instead of trying to then go through that process with someone who maybe isn't that serious or not as interested as they may have been when they filled in the inquiry form.
And I suppose that also gives the customer a better experience themselves.
It's smoother. It's smoother for them. It's much quicker. And I think that there's still more to come on that side of things, and the things that we're looking at with the way that they gather information through the acquisitions and resales process. There's lots of forms and lots of information that's required. So we are looking at ways to automate those forms to remove the need for data input straight into the system. So that there's more to come on that. And I think that the more automation we can do, and the better those processes get, the more productive the team can be. And actually having that time to say, right, I've got 5 minutes, I can now look at this, instead of rushing, I've got to call this person, I've got to email this person back. It's really going to help with their the time management and just the processes and the work. Even though sales is always a sort of high-paced, quite stressful environment, to be able to ease that slightly through the use of a system, I think is always going to be a benefit.
Definitely. Well, it's always good to hear that it's made a big difference. That's what we strive for.
I think it will continue to do so. Obviously, everyone adapts to these things slightly differently. Some adapt straight away, some take a little bit longer. So I think as time goes on, it's only been a couple of months. I think by the time we get towards the end of the year and the new year, all of these things will have been embedded and will have made those small tweaks to really sort of hone down on what their processes are and what steps need to be where, and identify other ways that we can essentially use the system for the better.
definitely. And that's another part, I think, of what I like to think Avrion brings to the table. You know, the solution is never done. You can always improve it, evolve it. And so, yeah, those fine tunes that you can do to it always continue to make a difference.
And it can be something really straightforward and really simple, but even the simplest of tweaks or changes or additions can make a whole world of difference.